Welcome to Psychology of the Daf. We are in Gemara Pesachim Daf Vav. This Gemara brings up a principle that many of you have heard, probably since you are young, which is Ein Mukdam Uma'ucher B'Torah. There is no beginning nor end, no prior or no after in the Torah, meaning simply that the Torah is written not necessarily in chronological order. And again, like many things that we learn when we're in grade school, we learn it, but we stop thinking about it. The truth is it's a pretty complicated concept. Why would the Torah be written in this way? In point of fact, it's not so simple exactly how this rule applies. Rashi just mentions the Torah is not makpid on Seder, and that parshios are mentioned in different orders, not necessarily chronological order. When we say parshios, we mean, of course, not the parsha that we read every Shabbos, because those divisions happened later on in time. We're talking about parshias like the areas of the Torah that are separated, the different paragraphs, whether they're pesuchas or stumas, whatever they are, the different sections of the Torah. Now, the Ramban in Bamidbar Tes Zayin, Pasuk Aleph, goes into a discussion of what's considered. When does a rule apply? When does it not? It is certainly not universal. The Torah is not alphabet soup. There are real rules for how it applies. But the Shalah raises a very important question. You can find this Shalah in the Mar Makomos, which I published on my blog. But the Shalah raises a very important question, which is, if this is true, what's the meaning of it? Ought it not be Torah Hashem Tamima? Should the Torah of Hashem not be complete? Why would the Torah not be able to organize itself in a way that is perfect and understandable? And so the Shalah answers that really the Torah is incomprehensible, because the Torah is a translation of something that is far more complex than the human mind on a particular level can understand. And therefore, it's not so much that that it's out of order. It's more that it's not in an order that's necessarily comprehensible on every level of human intellect. And that's a powerful point and a very important point, which is that a lot of times things that are without structure and without a systemic organization doesn't mean that they're random and chaotic. It means that there's access or involvement in things on a different level. And many things that are in ruchnias, as well as things that are emotional, exist outside of the bonds and the bounds of time. You know, we have this concept, yesh koina olamo b'shah achas. Right, a person can acquire their world, literally their world, but meaning their world to come in one moment. A person can be doing averis their whole life, and in one moment of tshuva, in one very deep moment, they could acquire their entire world to come. It's not a game, you know. It's not a game. It's more deeper than that. It's that at that moment, through some kind of very deep act, the person achieves a connection and a resolution of whatever cellular and soular matter that is present inside the person, and they achieve a higher level of ruchnias and a higher level of attachment to Hashem. They're not cheating. They're actually achieving in that moment something great. And there is this idea of yesh kon olamo b'shah achas. But in relationships too, relationships and emotions are like ruchnias. They do not exist in time. And so in one moment, one could reverse and repair years and years of problems in a true moment of emotional connection, as well as, unfortunately, in a moment of betrayal, a person can destroy years and years of what trust is being built for. So ein mukdam u'ucher b'Torah is not so much about there being no order, meaning that it's disorganized. It's really about it being available on multi-dimensional, omnipresent, omnisignificant levels that are present at every moment. And so it's really impossible for it to be in order, because if you do it in order, you're going to actually mess up the order. It's kind of like Zohar v'Shomer b'Dibur Echad in the when Hashem was giving the Ten Commandments. There's a medrash that Zachor and Shamor by Shabbos were said at the same time. Of course, a human can't say two words at the same time, nor probably understand two words at the same time. So necessarily, the Torah cannot be in what we like to call order because it exists beyond that. And many aspects of emotions and ruchnius apply in the same way.